Alright, welcome to the Game Week 7 team review. We're on Green Arrows, we want bigger Green Arrows, and hopefully this can be the week for it. Of course, as you can tell by the thumbnail, the triple captain is active. I've explained on my TikTok why. I'll go more in depth towards the end of this video if you want to check it out. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe and check out the TikTok for more videos. Goal, I've got David Raya against West Ham at home. Raya, as explained before, is going to be my keeper for this season. Really comfortable in this Arsenal defense. They've only conceded one goal from open play this entire season, and they've played 10 games. Like, this shows how good the defense has improved in comparison to last season. And last season, Raya still got the Golden Glove, and Arsenal still got the most clean sheets in the Premier League. And this season, it's looking even crazier of a defense. Obviously, West Ham has been a bogey fixture with Arsenal losing. West Ham at home has been a bogey fixture with Arsenal losing the last two games against West Ham at home, and haven't kept a clean sheet since 2021. So the stats and the facts aren't with me with this Raya pick, but hopefully it does work out. And solid keeper option. In defense, alongside him, I have Jurriën Timber. Obviously, Ben White was back tonight. He did start the Arsenal game against Olympiacos, but this still makes me confident in Timber starting because White's come back from injury. He started this Olympiacos game, meaning he's not going to start the next game, and Timber will get his minutes. So really good to see, and it seems Arteta is really going to go for Calafiori and Timber in majority, if not all, the Premier League games, and just stay with it consistently. And hopefully, after Gabriel's 13-pointer last week, Timber and the rest of the Timber owners can prove the doubt was wrong, and Timber can get some points. It would be lovely to see that, obviously, and he has done in the past before. Leeds at home, repeat that, would love it. But of course, that's not my expectations, but I could definitely see him getting attacking return, especially against West Ham, where I feel, of course, Arsenal have majority of the ball. Nuno is going to try to tactically masterclass this game because the players are just not on the same level, and Timber getting the ball, getting those crosses could allow for the extra bit of creativity to get the goal, I think. The other defender, I've got Virgil van Dijk. So this has come as a consequence of Livramento, who's meant to start this game against Forest at home, which looked like a decent fixture, but now Livramento has gone injured against Arsenal, and he's out until at least 22nd of November. So obviously the plan now is to take out Livramento because he's about to miss 6 to 5 game weeks. But I don't want to rush into him right now, removing him, because I feel like I could do with the two transfers, and Van Dijk, even though it's Chelsea away, I think it's a good game for defensive contributions for him, so I could play him in this game, and there's not really any other defensive option around that price that I want for next game week. So that works for me, starting him. To complete the defense, I've got the Tottenham man, who disappointed me last week, obviously, Pedro Porro. The Leeds at away game has been a tough fixture I've seen so far in the Premier League, but I think from an attacking point of view, it's tough. From a defensive point of view, not so, because Leeds are very good defensively at home. On the attack, I don't know, but obviously the atmosphere is one of the best in the Premier League, and many players have said it is the best in the Premier League. And if Leeds do stay up, that's going to be a massive contribution to it, and I think a unique selling point amongst the other. Of course, Sunderland got a good atmosphere in Burnley, but I think it's nothing compared to the Leeds atmosphere, and that tight, compact stadium that creates that level of noise. And Tottenham haven't been on good form, obviously, drawing to Wolves, the worst team currently in the Premier League, and drawing to Bodo Glimt, which is arguably one of the worst teams in the Premier League, in the Champions League. Conceded goals in both, but Tottenham, they do have a smart manager. He will know how to manage this game, and maybe we'll be surprised, or I'll be surprised, and Tottenham will masterclass this game, and Porro will get involved. Obviously, Porro did get an assist as well against Bodo Glimt, so attacking point of view is looking promising. But could Thomas Frank bench Porro and go with Doggy and Spence again? I would say no, but I definitely could see him doing it because it's just the physicality of the game. But as I explained before, the missing of Pedro Porro removes such a creative asset that they're missing and that they miss against Wolves. So I think he has to start, and it could be a decent game for him if Tottenham do play well. So that's the defense. After last week, everyone blanked. Hopefully this week we get at least one return. At least one. In the midfield, the first one I'd speak about is Anthony. Obviously, put him in the wild card last minute. Really like the prospect of him. Really been a fan of him this season based on the eye test. And he did get points for me in the first game, although from the bench against City. And obviously, this week was going to be a headache between benching Dewsbury Hall or Anthony. And Dewsbury Hall's suspension has kind of forced me to play Anthony. And I don't mind it. Villa away, I think, is not a bad fixture. Villa are not on form. Defensively, they haven't looked very solid. And Anthony is a man on hot form. So I don't mind this fixture at all for him. What else can I say on this player? He looks very good on the eye. He's Burnley's main man. And if he can get me some points, I think that'd be a very good pick for me because it's a very unique and niche pick. But one with definite backing based on my eye test. So hopefully he can get points for me there. The next one I have got Phil Foden. Blank last game week. Has looked good so far since being embedded into the City team. Guardiola has gone 3 times without changing his team for the first time since 2017. So he should continue it, especially that players like Marmoush are out. So Foden should get a start. And the last time Foden played Brentford away, he did actually score a hat-trick. So if you could repeat that, I would love to see that. But otherwise, I'm very confident in Foden doing well this game. Especially after missing out last game. He still looks quality. He still looks a good player. He still looks trusted by Pep. And I back him in this game. Alongside him, I have Semenyo. A man who hasn't got a blank so far this season. It's crazy. I think he might be the only player who hasn't blanked yet this season. And deservedly so. He looks really good. His data is really good. His team is playing really well. Fulham at home now, I think, is also a decent fixture. It's 2 balanced teams in terms of ability level. Well, the home team, you're always going to back them. And Fulham, I wouldn't say they ship a few goals, but they do concede. And of course, when a player is on this type of form, you're just going to keep backing them. And the final midfielder, I've got my guy, Jeremy Doku. Backed him before this game week. He paid off with the 10-pointer last week, and hopefully he can continue. I'd love for him to continue. He's the player who's probably, in terms of footballing terms, the most in form. His game is looking really well. He's playing really well. I'm really happy to have him in my fantasy team. And of course you want it to continue because you want him to continue getting those starts and be a good asset for me in FPL. So hopefully that's good. And I'm expecting, of course, a lot of goals for City in this Brentford away game. Up front, I'm really liking the front line this game week. I've got Victor Gyökeres, first of all. He blanked again in the Champions League. Didn't get his goal. But he hasn't scored in his last 4 games now. And if we're talking from a probability point of view, he should be getting a goal in this next game. Especially with the fixture looking good on paper. I really back him this game. Even I could see him pushing for a second goal if Arsenal do score a goal early, because West Ham are definitely going to be putting everyone behind the ball. And if Arsenal do score early, that's going to enforce them to kind of change their tactics. But if we don't, they're going to keep sitting back. So Arsenal need to enforce that goal early. And then if they do, Victor Gyökeres, I think, could get more than 1 goal. But fixture looks good. Of course, it gives me bad memories of the fixture, as I've spoken before, because Arsenal don't normally beat West Ham at home. But we'll see. We're on good form, good team. West Ham also look decent under Nuno, so we'll see how it goes. The second striker, I've got João Pedro. Blanked last week, but I really back him in this fixture because João Pedro is one of the best players in the Premier League, in my opinion, and one of the best players at Chelsea, if not the best player. And this Liverpool game is a game for big players. It's a game for that likes of João Pedro to go and score a goal, to go and, show his name, highlight him as one of the best players. And I really like this fixture for him, I can't lie. And I think this could be a real opportunity to show his quality to the rest of the Premier League, because everyone knows him as a Brighton player, but nobody knows him as that, pushing on I'm not going to say world class, but pushing on that door. So I'm really excited to see this game. Of course, Van Dijk versus João Pedro in my team. Hopefully Van Dijk gets defensive contribution, so hopefully João Pedro scores. It would be perfect for me. And of course, the main decision of this week in FPL is triple captain Erling Haaland against Brentford away. And let me explain to you why. These are things I look for when triple captaining. You want to play on form, tick. Haaland is probably, in terms of goal scoring, the top player on form. He's just scored 2 today against Monaco. He scored 2 against Burnley, 2 against United, 1 against Arsenal. He just can't stop scoring. Then I look at the matchup. I watched the United Brentford game, and even though I'm a huge fan of Brentford and I really enjoyed how they played against United, I thought from the back they looked kind of weak, let's say. You know, the Sesko goal was very cheap. That guy had 3 chances to hit the ball, and they looked very open, and they looked like they could be cut up open. And we know the way Brentford are playing. They're not going to put 11 players behind the ball like Burnley did last week, or Leeds will do when they play against City, or West Ham will do. They're going to play their game, and this will allow more space and time for Haaland. So I mapped it out on my TikTok. There are 3 opportunities to play Haaland. You got this week, Brentford away. You got Leeds at home and West Ham at home. Out of those 3, I've looked at it. They're all good fixtures. This is the one I think is the best one. Of course, Brentford are in form as well. But I think you're never going to hit a moment where Haaland is in this amount of form. And let's say, I think Brentford's win against United could work in City's favour. A bit of overconfidence. And, you know, kind of overconfidence in that they don't need to defend as much as they need to. And the opposition, I think, is the best matchup. Because whenever Haaland has everyone behind the ball, he fails to really get in the game, and many times we do see him blank, like last season when he played against Southampton at home and blanked. It's because they'll sit behind the ball and you have 2 centre-backs just watching him, you know, sticking to him like this. This Brentford game is going to allow him the most freedom out of the 3 games. He's undeniably going to be on the most form in this game. And you know what? I'm going for it, and I'm ready. Hat-trick incoming. He's going to outscore the Burnley game. And yeah, happy with the team this week. Hopefully a big green arrow. I'd love to see that. And yeah, it's going to be a big game week for me in FPL. And that's it.